Yeah, today's work's going to be less. Uh, Today is just going to be review, so I'm not going to show you anything new. I am going to field questions about any of the work we did all week. If you want me to do some more examples, go right ahead. Today's work is a review. I just gave you, what was it, 11 problems, I guess. It's a FOIL into factor. The answers are given to you as well in white text, so you don't actually have to submit anything to me today. I'm just taking your word for it. So once you feel like you're ready for a quiz tomorrow, that's what we got. I'm not going to give you anything else. I'm assuming at this point you have work for other people. You have science stuff to get done, some of you. Still owe me some science stuff, so spend your time doing that. But yeah, I feel like I gave you a lot of work the first couple days here. So we'll take it a little slower the last 2 days here. Just today, I'd like you to ask me any questions that you might have. If you don't understand how to do any of these, today's your day to ask. After that, there is just practice, and again, I'm not collecting anything from it. Just sit there and I'm taking your word that you know how to do them. And then you'll have a quiz tomorrow. It's going to look very similar to the worksheet today. You're just going to actually have to fill in the answers as opposed to just kind of highlighting over the white text. So I'll be on for a bit today. Probably won't be 40 minutes, but give the worksheet here a little shot. And if you have questions or you don't understand how we're getting an answer on one of them, just shoot me the number. I'll do it with you. The last one on homework last night. Yeah, sure. Just give me a second to look up what that is. I believe that was 27, and I believe it was 24y squared plus 10v. Oh, I'm sorry, this is a v2. Minus 6. Before you actually go and trinomial this thing, or whatever we call this, factor it, we actually can factor out a value of all these. So we can divide this whole thing, or divide each of these by a common factor. Right away you know they're all even, so you can divide out a 2. In that case, you're going to divide this by 2, divide this by 2, and divide this by 2. So just factor out that 2, and once we get our answer, it's actually going to be 2 times that quantity times this quantity. So you're going to have another factor in there. So I'm going to go ahead and divide out the 2 first. Let's see, half of 24 is 12v squared plus 5v minus 3. And they don't share any other common factors, so we can't take anything else out. And then do the fact that we have an a value. You're probably doing the slide and divide method that I showed you. So I'm going to multiply the 3 by the 12, and I'm going to get v squared plus 5v minus, and then 12 times 3 gives me, or 12 times negative 3 gives me negative 36. So I need factors of negative 36 that are going to add up to positive 5. So I'm going to come over to the side. Keep in mind this is a negative 36, so one of these has to be positive and one of these has to be negative. This is a positive 5 here, so I know that the larger one of these numbers has to be the positive. So just going through your factor list, we got, what was it, 1 and negative 36, which really isn't going to, oh, sorry, the larger one has to be positive. Negative 1 and 36, which isn't going to work. You got negative 2, and half of 36 is 18. And that's not going to add up to negative 5, so then we got 3. So you have negative 3 and 12. That is also not going to add up to positive 5. But we have negative 4 and 9, which will. Negative 4 plus 9 gives you a positive 5. So this is the one we want. So we're going to come over here. We're going to write v minus 4 because it's a negative 4. And we're going to write v plus 9 because it's a positive 9. And then remember we have the 12 to deal with here. So I'm going to divide each by 12. Over here, this becomes v minus, and then 4 divided by 12 I'm going to reduce. So that becomes 1/3. And over here, 9 divided by 12 I'm going to reduce, and that becomes, what's it, 3/4. Just double checking to make sure I did my division right here. Divide by 4 you get 1, divide by 4 you get 3, divide by 3 you get 3, divide by 3 you get 4. And then you're going to slide your denominators out front, and you're going to be left with 3v minus 1 times 4v plus, what was that, 3. And then when you FOIL this out, you should actually be getting this, which is not your actual problem, because remember we took out the 2 from up here. So we're just going to multiply it all by 2 for your answer. So your answer is going to be up here. So this is what we should be getting. Let's see, any other questions? Leo is asking, would 3x to the 5th over 3x to the 2nd be x to the 3rd? Let's see if I'm going to write this right. Leo is asking 3x to the 5th over 3x to the 2nd be x to the 3rd. Well, let's just solve it. Here your 3's are going to cancel. 3 divided by 3 is 1, so that goes out. And then 5 minus, just going to be x to the 3rd. Because again, 5 minus 2 gives you the 3. 5 is larger, so it's on top. So technically there's a 1 on the bottom, but we don't write it. Is there any other questions on today's worksheet, yesterday's worksheet, Monday's worksheet, Tuesday's, whenever? Anything at all? Science as well. If you're struggling with graphs in science, I can do some graph stuff in science as well, if you want. But yeah, Leah, looking good. For today, it's just you doing work. You're not turning anything in today. Um, it's just, can you do them? And you're having a test tomorrow. If you have questions from yesterday's work, yeah, sure, you can ask. I just did one with Deirdre. But really, if you wanna, if you understand what's going on and you're ready for a quiz tomorrow, you can go work on science stuff. But yeah, it's the same stuff as yesterday. It's just been a while since we did some foiling problems, but I've kind of been checking the work with the foiling the whole time. But we've been factoring all week. I'm trying to get you good at it because it is kind of trial and error, and a lot of people don't like it because of it. Slide and divide method works pretty well. So. And again, the answers are given to you in white text. You don't have to turn anything in today. You just highlight over the blank spot there and you'll see the answer. So you can check your work on your own. And if you miss it, you can try to figure it out on your own, or you can ask me now. But I'll be on for a little longer here. Chapter 3 and 4 test, I still have some people who haven't taken it, and instead of just making it available to just them, I put everything to everybody. So if you've already taken it on option C and you have a grade on option C, you don't have to worry about it. For the ramp project for science, do the 5 balls have to be athletic balls, example softball, or can I use an orange? Go right ahead and use an orange, Audrey. That's awesome. You can use oranges, you can use grapes, you can use pears, whatever you got laying around at this point. I just want to see if you can measure their speed and which one's going to be faster. Mm-hmm. I'm glad to hear you're working on that. I'm going to put those projects on the next 9 weeks just to give you guys some more time because of this whole, hey, changing how we do everything all of a sudden. I don't know if it's watermelon season, Brady, but if you have a watermelon lying around, go right ahead. And I do believe there's a lab report write-up for that, and I am not too concerned about, hey, why is this going to be important to other people? So I'm not sure who cares how fast a watermelon rolls down a hill, but you don't have to get too in-depth on the introduction for that. They're going to be due later than Friday. I want to get everything in for this 9 weeks done because we lost a week on top of that, and then we have this week happening, which is kind of iffy for some people still, just kind of with the technology and figuring things out. So whatever is in option C is going to be on this 9 weeks. So if you're missing anything in option C, make sure that gets done, preferably by tomorrow. But that gives me time next week to see if there's any like, hey, this is wrong on my part, or I'm missing something, but I turned it in already and I just have to find it because my email is a cluster right now. So that gives me some time to work out all the little kinks before the grades actually get finalized and everything. After that, we only have 9 weeks left, and I'm not exactly sure at this point if I'm going to see you before the end of the school year, like in person. So I might just post everything that's due for that 9 weeks on option C and be like, hey, get it done, and when it's done, it's done. But we'll see when that happens. Also have to check with the boss up above if I'm allowed to do it that way. So. The packet is not due tomorrow because I'm not exactly sure how to grade that. I got some people's turned in. It would be nice if you could scan it as opposed to taking a picture, but I guess taking a picture is going to be your best shot for it. I would like you to do it, just because it gives you the math background for it and all that, and it's going to make other math in the physics realm make more sense, hopefully. But I don't want that due for tomorrow. I'll take that later just because, again, technology issues people are having. If someone has it done, they don't have a way of getting it to me. Then gives us more time to figure that out. Yeah, I'm going to put key terms section assessments on this quarter. Those and the online quizzes. I think there's only 2 online quizzes for you guys. So for science, if I look in my options, see, give me a minute. For chapter 5, so science, chapter 5, which means I want like chapter 4 done, I want chapter 3 done. Those all have things that are on this quarter as well. But for chapter 5, I want the key terms done. I want your section assessments done, and I want your online quizzes done. I will post the test and the key term quiz. Actually, I think I already might have posted those that you can do. Yeah, I made the drop boxes in the classroom to help my help me stay a bit more organized. So I appreciate if you do use them. It would be easier on my end. However, if you can't figure those out, you're more than welcome to just email me them. The running video thing, I'm going to give you more time on because I'm not exactly sure how well you can do that with each of your individual situations. Hopefully you are going outside at least some point and you're not just staying inside. That includes you, Katie. Please go outside at some point. But yeah, the video, I'll take it as soon as you got it done, but I'll give you more time if you have trouble figuring that out. Third 9 weeks is always a rough one for everybody. It's probably the hardest 9 weeks out of the year. Plus the fact that you had all these interruptions. We have this coronavirus thing going on. You still owe me projects, but I'm putting them on the next 9 weeks. So you still got to do them. Just we'll give you a little more time because of all the strange stuff going on. Well, why don't you take your dog for a run and then just kind of videotape 100 meters there and see what you get. But yeah, you probably should at least go for like a walk or something just to get you out of the house. Do something that's just for your sanity or just exercise in general. Any questions on the math as well? You got your quiz coming tomorrow. Are you going to check the quizzes tomorrow? I'm going to try to check the quizzes tomorrow. I might not get to everything because I have other things I need to check. but those quizzes I'm trying to get on this 9 weeks as well in math. So anything that gets unlocked this week, tomorrow you're going to, so for math, you have anything in the classroom is going to be on this 9 weeks. That includes tomorrow. You're going to have a quiz, which will be graded for accuracy. And you also are going to have a discussion question. That is going to be posted, and that's going to be graded based on completion, whether you answered it or not. It's not math related. It's more like, hey, how can I improve the online teaching thing if I'm doing this right or not? And what you like about that's your chance to give me thoughts. And yes, I have a dog. His name's Emmett, and he barks. He likes to bark at people who are walking because that's the only recreation people are doing these days. No, the quiz is not going to be on Google Forms because I don't know how to get superscripts on Google Forms yet. So it is going to be on Google Docs. Just so you're aware. It's going to look very similar to what today's looks like. So it's going to look like this. Only there's going to be 5 questions for each, and you're not going to have the answer in white text here. You're going to have to actually type out the answer. But it's just going to be 10 questions, 5 on foiling, 5 on factoring, and then next week we'll get into some special cases for factoring, and we'll get into some more complicated versions of it. But if you can handle this stuff, this is the biggest important stuff. And then eventually we are going to get into why we actually factor things and actually start solving for these variables once I give you an equals thing, as opposed to just simplifying the expressions. Well, if there's no further questions, then you don't need to be on here. You can always email me later, and I can send you some instructions if you have questions on things. People have been emailing me, and I just kind of record a little section. What sections in the book are the key terms for on science? I do not know off the top of my head. I gotta find my book. So for science key terms, this is chapter 9 in the book, I believe. And it is sections 1 through 3. So section assessments 1 through 3. Online quizzes, I think there's only 2 of them. Oh, if there's no other questions, then I am going to end this. Again, if you have questions later on, shoot me an email. I'll make you a quick little video explaining how to do something if you need it, and send that your way. But other than that, make sure you get your stuff in for tomorrow. Make sure you're keeping up with your other classes as well. I'm not sure how much work you're having here, because I'm not talking to many people here. But with that, I'm going to end it there. So email if you have any more questions.